What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have a mid-season Crew Motorfest update on the way, and it's only about a month away. So I figured I'd make a video and talk about the things we know for sure are going to happen, some things that we would like to happen, and the things that we actually think will happen. So anyways, enjoy. Let's go. All right, starting with the things that we actually know are going to happen, and that is we are getting a new playlist. Again, this is going to happen mid-season, so we're looking at the beginning of May, and then it'll be May and June for the second half of Season 6. So in May, we should expect a new playlist, and that playlist is called Red Bull Wall Ride. This was detailed in the Season 6 details, or the Season 6 content overview article that they posted with the launch of Season 6, so this is probably not going to be a surprise to many of you. But basically, you can embrace the chaos on May 7th, like I said, early May, as you navigate all the terrain in the challenges spanning the entirety of Maui. So these races or these events are not going to be locked into the Red Bull playground, which I think is smart because we've already done a lot of playing in that playground, both with the addition of the new playlist and the summit events for that first week. We did a bunch of stuff on that playground. I am ready to see some new stuff with Maui, and Maui has a lot to offer, right? There's a lot of land, there's a lot to cover. It's good to see that the new playlist will feature new events in all of those spaces that we're not necessarily used to already. Now, they do offer some details as to what this playlist is going to be, and it says choose the craziest Red Bull vehicles and perform extreme actions. So obviously they're introducing a new type of game mode. The Red Bull drivers that are specialists in their discipline have set records ahead of you. You have to beat their records to become the ultimate Red Bull daredevil. Okay, this is just setting up the stage for the playlist itself. Nothing really that big. Before each event, cinematics will showcase the Red Bull athletes' performances, and it'll tease you on the actions that you will have to complete in the upcoming playlist. So basically, it's a checklist of things that you have to do in a given area. Now, if we scroll down to the new game mode, it gives you a little bit more detail here. It says in this game mode, you must complete a list of actions to succeed in this playlist. You'll need to perform them quickly if you hope to claim the top spot. So basically, you're pitted against AI like always in playlists. You're completing a list of various actions, and you are being timed as to how fast you can do those actions, and that time is your completion time. So these events are absolutely gonna be something that I would imagine be in the summits, and that's one of the other things that I wrote down, which is we're probably gonna have some new summit events come the mid-season update. Now, in addition to the new summit events, because of the new playlist, we actually should have a new summit modifier as well. If we scroll down in this exact same article, they have summit gameplay modifier pro racing debuts. Now, it doesn't say when it's going to debut. We might actually see it in month 2 of season 6, but I have not seen this yet in anything. So I'm wondering if this is actually going to be featured as part of that season 6 mid-season update. A new summit modifier called Pro Racing. It basically makes it more difficult for you. No nitro, cockpit view, no minimap, no speedometer. Those are the types of modifiers that you're gonna see. And it doesn't say that it'll be completely randomized. It just says with the Pro Racing modifier, players can expect modifications such as those 4. So I don't know. It just seems like they're gonna pick and choose with the events. But we might get a summit with Pro Racing as the modifier, and each of those events might have a different modifier. So that's kind of cool. I want to talk about the prestige ticket and new seasonal content. We're not going to be getting any prestige ticket changes or prestige ticket store changes on the mid-season update. That's going to be reserved for the seasonal updates when the new season, which would be season 7, hits in July, I believe. The early part of July, that's when you'll see the prestige ticket store have a refresh or an update. So just so you know, had to put it in the video. Don't expect anything from that on the mid-season update. And as for things we absolutely know 100%, the last thing is new vehicles. Now, we know for fact that there's going to be 2 new vehicles, and they're kind of like almost new vehicle classes, right? We have the Jet that's been widely talked about in the community that we know is coming because you can see the category on certain events where, you know, you could use a plane. Now there's a Jet category because it's a completely different category like the helicopters. And also we're getting a motocross bike that can be used on water. And this was detailed in one of the podcast episodes at the beginning of the season. So it's no surprise, this is actually confirmed. We will be seeing that in the game this season, and my guess is it's going to be with this mid-season update and the introduction of the new playlist. That being said, that's it for the things we know 100% confirmed are going to be happening with that mid-season update. So let's talk about some things that I would like to see happen with this mid-season update. Number one, changes to Grand Race modifiers. The Grand Race modifiers so far this season have been an absolute failure, and it's really not the modifiers themselves. It's just the implementation of the modifiers. The 24-hour modifiers on Saturdays have been a complete trash can. It's not something that people like. Now, if you like them, I'm sorry, but the majority of players really are not having fun with these. And it's not the modifier itself. I want to be clear. I'm not against the modifiers. I'm not against having modifiers. I'm not even against restricting vehicle classes, although I don't really like it. But the fact is, it can switch up the gameplay a little bit, and I'm okay with that. But having it restrict vehicle classes and restrict vehicles and be on there for 24 hours, an entire 24 hours on Saturday, is just terrible. It's horrible. People don't want to play it. And it's super evident with the numbers. Just before filming this video, I looked at how many people are actually watching the Crew Motorfest on Twitch right now, and the answer was 37 on a Saturday night at like 10 o'clock. 37 people watching. I looked at how many streams were on YouTube. There was 3 streams of the Crew Motorfest, that's it. And on those 3 streams, there were 7 viewers. 37 on Twitch, 7 on YouTube, and only 900 and change players on Steam. It's obvious that people don't like the modifiers being all day on a Saturday. My suggestion, and this is what I hope we see in this mid-season update, is that they change the all-day Saturday modifier to all of the modifiers. Just rotate through all of the modifiers all day. Don't have any regular grand races, have only modified races. That includes main stage, that includes special selection. Go ahead, throw those in there. That includes the special weather, that includes no collisions. Throw them all in there, all 4 of them, rotate them. Every other one will be a different modifier, and it'll be on a 4 modifier rotation for the whole day. I'm fine with that. I would play that because it's going to give you more chances to race multiple classes. It's going to give you more chances to have a variety of different things. And honestly, the nighttime grand races, which is the special weather, we've barely raced that. There's only like 3 routes in there, but we have barely had time to actually give that a go. So I am down for modifiers on Saturdays. Just make it all of the modifiers, not just one. And speaking of special weather modifiers, I would hope that with the mid-season update, they introduce actual special weather modifiers. I mean, nighttime is not really a weather. So if they were going with the title of special weather, there's obviously something else that was in store for that modifier, and it's not there. We have rain, we have heavy storms in the game already. Like, we have them on the playlist races. So why can't we just have that in the grand races as well, and it can be part of that special weather? And then finally, I would love to see some new grand race routes. There's lots of room on Maui, as I said earlier in the video. Give me some new grand race routes. I want new ones, and I would love to have them here on this mid-season update. But anyway, let me be realistic for a moment and talk about the things that I actually think are going to happen with this update, outside of the things that we know are confirmed for it. Number one, I don't think we're getting any changes to PvP this season. I hate to say it, but the crew has really been slow to react with everything. The community usually throws a fit about something, and then we see the changes related to that fit maybe 3 months later, you know, maybe, and sometimes 6 months later. So I really don't think we're going to see much happen. I think the modifiers are going to continue throughout the rest of this season. I think we're going to get 24-hour modifiers that are not going to be successful at all. People are just not going to want to play for the remainder of the season. I don't think it's changing with the mid-season update, although I would love it to. They just move really slowly on everything, and it's all drip fed. It's all very slow. It's methodical. And to be honest, and to be fair to them, it's probably way more complicated to introduce new things or remove things or to change things that they plan to have for the whole season, just like in the middle of the season. It's probably really difficult. There's technical reasons, I'm sure, why it can't just happen instantaneously. Lastly, I want to end it with, I don't think we're going to see any major changes, like none at all. I think we're going to see this same game for the next 3 months. And that is a little bit frustrating, but I'd like to propose something to you guys as I end this video, and I'm trying to end it on a positive note. Understand that this is the strategy for this game. The game is pretty well defined at this point, and we have to accept it for what it is. The makers of the game, the publisher of the game, they're just going to continue to add content to the game. They want to build the library of the game. This is very similar to what they did with the Crew 2. They just kept adding more and more content. Now, I would argue that the Crew 2's content was much more creative than this, but I do think that this is going to be the strategy for the entirety of the life of this game. You're just going to see a new playlist, maybe some new cars, maybe some car variants, maybe a special summit car, maybe a few vanities here and there. I just don't think we're going to see these major changes all the time. We might get a little tweak to the grand races with every seasonal update, but I don't think we can expect anything in the middle of the season other than the eventual, playlist addition. So with that said, I encourage you to accept the game for what it is. I know I have, and I just won't be playing on the days where I don't really feel like playing. I'm going to continue to pump out the summit guides every week. I'm going to continue to cover all of the new cars and all of the new features that come to the game and every single update that comes to the game, so you don't have to go anywhere else. But I might not be invested in playing that many hours like I was early on in this game's life cycle. I just really don't think that there's a need to. I can come in, I can do the summits every week, I can cover the new cars, and I think I'll be okay. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are you hoping to see with the mid-season update? Again, that should happen on May 7th. I'm excited to see the new playlist. I want to see what that does to the game. They're introducing a new game mode, so we'll see what happens. Maybe it does change a few things, and maybe for the better. Who knows? All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.